Alright, so I've seen Karate Kid Legends, and this is the movie where two universes, these legends coming together and sort of treating the new generation in the new Karate Kid. And this is describing it as the No Way Home effect. And for what I'm about to say here, I don't know if this was a mistake from Sony or why did they make this, but don't worry. I have some bits and good things to say about it, but I think it's mostly going to be a random video from here on out. So, but this will be my full non-spoiler review, just going over everything and just my frustrations and concerns. And it's all that to brag about here as well. So I'm gonna give that to take that straight out of my chest. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so I'm on any future videos, including movie reviews and more like that. But now let's talk about this movie. And now, where do I begin? Well, when it was announced that they were doing a new Karate Kid movie, and basically that was passing on the new generation, the next person to be the new Karate Kid. And then, when it was announced that they were bringing back Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso, and Jackie Chan as Mr. Han by bringing in the two universes, or should I say legends, of course, in this new installment in the Karate Kid universe. And I thought the concept of it was pretty good. I mean, I was sold for what they were gonna do and how they were gonna do it and how this was gonna head off in a brand new direction by bringing in these two icons back, especially if you know the original Karate Kid trilogy and the 2010 Karate Kid movie, and which was good, of course, even though I have nostalgia for the 2010 Karate Kid remake with Jackie Chan. That's why I was so excited to hear they were bringing Mr. Han back for this movie. Essentially, by bringing in these two universes together with these two icons, training the next person to be the new Karate Kid, and who is Lee Wong, and basically this is kind of like repeating a formula where this is the new kid who moves from Beijing to New York and also falls for the new love interest, but then has enemies in the way that he has to defeat. But also he goes to Mr. Han for help because with his skills alone in Kung Fu, which are not that good enough, because especially with Lee Wong, for what his character provides, because he thought he left his past behind. He no longer wants to take on Kung Fu, but especially when he's moved into a new place and he has enemies and opponents that he has to take down. And basically, with Jackie Chan, he kind of plays his uncle in the movie, and especially as I mentioned before, I have nostalgia for the Karate Kid 2010 remake, so we basically get to see Mr. Han's life unfold after that 2010 movie, and this is also combining within the timeline of events after what happened, especially after he was with Dre Parker, and also just see what his life is like, and training a whole new group of kids, and I kind of like that about him. And sort of I want to talk about Lee Wong, played by Ben Wang, and I sort of really liked him in this movie. I thought he was a very likable character, especially with his charm for what his character provides, because especially when he moves to a new home, a new world, and this is basically him trying to fit in and not having to bring up his past, he knows Kung Fu, and trying to fall for the girl, and also this whole plot revolves around the owner of a pizza shop, help compete in the tournament, but especially with his skills that aren't enough, and now with Mr. Han, that has to sort of put him in this training montage in order to take the real enemy down. That's sort of I really liked about it, but in terms of the plot and the story, it kind of offers nothing. It doesn't offer any value, and that's what I wanted to place on here, especially when Sony announced that they were doing a new Karate Kid movie. But why bring back the two icons back in just a movie that is so fast-paced and has not enough time to breathe? Bringing back Ralph Macchio absolutely made no sense, because I kind of feel like this was titled Karate Kid No Way Home. I like the Karate Kid trilogy, and then with Cobra Kai, that was a direct continuation, but even following like after that show. But even though with Karate Kid Legends, that I didn't want to touch upon the events of Cobra Kai or the ending of that show. Basically, just breaking him back, it just had like no sentimental value. But even though I kind of liked Ralph Macchio's return as Daniel LaRusso, and I want to point out I admire the dynamic between Macchio and Chan for what they have with their legacies, and I liked it quite a bit. It's sort of like bringing up their past of what reminded themselves of how they got here, and I thought that interaction was sort of good. It was like heartfelt in my opinion. It was just like so good just to see that, like bringing these two icons. It was just so good to think about, and also with Ralph Macchio's return as Daniel LaRusso, and that played a sort of like the No Way Home effect, as like Mr. Han was sort of coming to him to ask for help to train this new kid to train him to be like the new Karate Kid, and also just to see like LaRusso train this kid as for like the Miyagi way of Kung Fu. Is sort of good, but it just kind of felt like nonsense in my opinion. But it was like fun with this whole training montage that they pull off, but specifically with story points that it tries to give. But especially with the concept of what ideas that they want to throw out here, it sort of provides like no value whatsoever in terms of what direction that they were heading towards. And it was nice for something new for a change, but it kind of felt very much useless. And also at one point during the movie, I kind of felt like this already has been pulled off with this formula that is repeating the same story. But for what they did with the original Karate Kid trilogy, that made us fall in love with Daniel LaRusso, that is a true iconic movie. And then when they were doing it with the 2010 Karate Kid remake, I was like sloppiness, and they kind of threw like random ideas together and concepts and pitches, and it's a total, I think, a disrespect to the whole universe as a whole. Especially, I mean, if you love the original Karate Kid trilogy and the 2010 movie, and also the Cobra Kai series as well, I think like you'll definitely get some value out of this. But as for me, with this movie, it adds no value whatsoever. But I feel like this is a movie that I kind of like I'll never watch again. But it was sort of good just to see like a new story. This sort of like passing on the mantle to like the next person to be the next Karate Kid. And I kind of like Ben Wang brings to the movie of what his character brings, of what his way of Kung Fu is like. I admire his story and the history for how he knows it, and get to explore a little bit more of his background, especially for how it fits into the entire story. But by the end, it kind of feels like totally rushed. It feels like it transitions like every couple seconds and doesn't let like enough scenes to breathe. I mean, trust me, I like Jackie Chan. I love his martial arts skills for what he pulls off. I mean, the dude is a legend in my opinion. But when you're bringing in Ralph Macchio, it kind of makes no sense to the story. But it did add like a good reason for why they had to bring him in there. But trust me, like Ralph Macchio being in there, it was only for like a limited amount of time, and it sort of felt like the Karate Kid No Way Home effect. That's what I would call it. I did like for what happened towards the end, but it kind of felt like a very useless story that kind of adds like a sloppy waste from Sony. There is a quick cameo towards the end of the movie that you'll definitely want to stick around for. That's what I'll tell you without giving away any spoilers. Also, I like the martial arts sequences, all the action, all the training montage that goes down, especially between Lee and LaRusso and Mr. Han. I thought they have good chemistry together. I thought they interacted so well. But in terms of the story alone, it kind of feels like a generic plot and sort of like repeating like a formula that it was once pulled up before. But to do this for Karate Kid Legends, it kind of felt useless, and I don't know why they would do this, of why Sony would like pull this out of the hat for no good reason at all. But trust me, I mean, with my final thoughts and consensus, and trust me, I kind of liked it, but I mean, man, it just felt like a movie that I'll never touch upon again. But I did like the dynamic, but in terms of the storytelling and what offer value it provides, not much at all. This is like a dumb waste to bring in Ralph Macchio. It's like he has no sense of him actually being there. I loved him in the Cobra Kai series. Where this provides in the Karate Kid universe is sort of good, but basically just offers nothing at the end of the day. But it sort of felt like good stuff, especially, I mean, if you're a fan of the Karate Kid universe, or if you have your if you want to go into this with like an open mind, and you'll thank me later as well. So yeah, in terms of, I liked it quite a bit. I liked the dynamic, but the story doesn't give it enough time to breathe. It's just another generic Bond story as well. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it as well. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below and what your thoughts on Karate Kid Legends, if you've seen it or if you're planning on seeing it. And also give your rating between 1 out of 10. I'm curious to share your opinion in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. And also follow all my social medias or links down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.